Hello viewers and subscribers, welcome once again my new screencast. Uh, Today I try to continue my previous screencast like screencast number 7. I already published the screencast number 7.1 up to 7.8, and that was the screencast about the how can you integrate the open layer libraries, open layer JavaScript libraries, GeoServer, and then Angular, Angular based Angular based font and developments. That was the main idea to build this screencast. It is to build meaning that you try to build a geospatial functions or geospatial web applications. That was the idea, to give it to you how can you build a geospatial applications in a professional way. That means it's sometimes it is hard to understand for very beginner or for the students or learners. And but in the when you get the really from very beginning level to the end level, that's I discussed the theory and the practice and then development steps, then I believe you can get it really properly and you can quickly integrate those development into your daily development activities. That means in the previous screencast we already talked about the detail about how can you install the Node.js in respect to the and then how can you install the Angular CLI and then open layer JavaScript libraries installation process, and then the last screencast was the discussion how can you visualize the your GeoServer datasets, and even though how can you programmatically build geospatial data and visualize into the your different into the OSM OpenStreetMaps datasets. Let's have a look what I already had in my channels. So if you go to these channels, the screencast number, I think so it is the screencast number. Sorry, there's a playlist. You can see that I have a playlist like this, very simple web GIS web programming with the different JavaScript libraries like openlayers, and then liplets JavaScript libraries, and then this is the one Node.js Angular and openlayers GeoServer web application that's we are talking about today. And this will be the continuation of my the screencast number 7 screencast number and up to the continuation. So this is the screencast I already discussed about that one, from very beginning level to the my very beginner level to the professional level. How can you install the all the necessary JavaScript libraries, even with Node.js Angular and then open layer JavaScript, and then I try to start the to make some GUI applications out of that one. If you see the GUI applications, like this is the GUI application, and then you see that the GUI application, basically this is the GUI application that's we are looking for, that one, the GUI application. You can take the data from the GeoServer and visualize this data into the OpenStreetMap as a base maps. So this is the data. You see the data coming from the GeoServer. It is very quick, and then it is working what we expected. And just look for my previous channel. This is already discussed about how can you integrate your GeoServer WMS and WFS services into your web applications, and then visualize this the geo data application into the your respective web application or your geospatial applications. And here I already talked about this one also in the previous screencast. How can you start the GeoServer, and how can you configure your GeoServer and then change your respective port, and define your all the features layers, WMS, WFS, and WCS layers, and then visualize those layers into the open layers, the GUI GeoServer GUI applications. And there is a lot of workspace. You can define his own workspace. For me, I define already own workspace. And then storage, you have your own storage, then all definition of your storage, and then you have a layers information, how many layers you have it information. Just follow the previous screencast number 7.1 to 7.8. That is clearly defined how can you configure or how can you install the GeoServer and how can you start the GeoServer, all things together, and then you can get it properly what I mean in the GeoServer. So if you see the GeoServer is running from here, so every request is calling here GeoServer. We are calling from your web applications. You see the GeoServer number 777 GeoServer is running, and this is the local host. If it is the host is located different part of the world, maybe Bangladesh or Germany or USA, then you just need to change your IP address of your PC, and then it's work automatically. All the geo functionalities, and that means your geo data sets work automatically. That's because that's I say it is understanding. It is a little bit harder for the very beginner or students or learners, but when you get it really clearly one by one, then I think so you can get it really professional example how can we did it like last 10 years or 15 years in the professional life, to how can you start the geo application, how can you develop those complex geo applications. That's why every time I said it is complex, but you get to need it really step by step, how can you get it properly. So today what I try to do today, that's I already prepare my presentations. If I look for this one, that's we already discussed about this one. So I have like the screencast number 35. It was the Angular TypeScript GUI applications. That lot of forms you can follow also this one if you are really Angular TypeScript based GUI developer. And then you have a lot of forms. You can do you could update, delete operations, and even though in the maps operation, just follow the screencast number 35 and you get the just same geo functionalities. So screencast number was the discussion was the exactly same without except the not open layers with the replayed geo application. You can follow also those screencast, and if you are not using the open layers, then you can go also the same functionalities with the replayed JavaScript libraries. I mean that if there is a screen, there is a playlist, you can go there. I think so there's a playlist number, playlist number, you can see the playlist number where it is. This is the playlist number, that's I mean. So you have a playlist number 2 up to 2.13 is there. So you can follow also the same functionality, same technology stack, only the difference between your JavaScript library, like which library you are trying to use, or which your company which JavaScript library you are using. Depending, if you are using open layers, then go to the screencast number 7. If you are try to use the leaflet, then you can go to the screencast number 2. But it is exactly the same functionality that I'm trying to do the same one-to-one transformation for those functionalities. So here is the screencast number 7 that I already talked about. This is one of the pictures that like the GeoServer functionalities. That's all I already discussed about that one details, and how the installation process from the Node.js CLI, and then new project creations, and then how can you install all the necessary open layer libraries or leaflet libraries, depending which JavaScript library, maps library you try to use it, and then how can you start the project. But I will show you when I start the developments for today. But you can go get how can you start the development in the previous screencast. So it's open layer. I already talk about detail about how open layers JavaScript library works, and then you can go to the project structure, and that is this that already discussed about. And then here is my IDE. That's I am trying to use the Visual Studio Code IDE for this case. You can go also the Visual Studio IDE in this case, I think so. but it's really good tools. You can use other IDE tool, the Storm and the other alternative, or any editing tool. But I found the Visual Studio Code is a good tool for the JavaScript based any GUI or any web application or a geo application development. Really perfect tools.